All right, everyone. I promised you a video. Now, I did post a video on the using a quadratic to solve a word problem, and that was very similar to one of those types of problems. Now, the other type that's on there also uses quadratic, but it is slightly different because there's some things that you have to realize, right? So, the one problem I'm thinking of there is you're dropping an object from a height h, right? And it travels, right? And t is the time. Okay, so when you drop the object, this tells me if I know how much time it takes, then I can tell what height I dropped it from, or that where it was when I got that time, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyway, this is the equation that, or the formula that's in your problem. And let me just go and click on that so that I'm not sitting here going, oh, sample test problems. Okay, so the problem is the height of an object t seconds after it is dropped off a building is given by the equation h equals negative 16t squared plus 400. How many seconds after the rock is dropped, or the height, how many after the object is dropped, will it hit the ground? Okay, so the thing to remember here is what height is the ground, right? What height is the ground? And so let's say, I'm not saying I'm 6 feet tall, but if I was 6 feet tall, right, and I started from the ground to measure to the top of my head and said it was 6 feet, which would obviously be a lie, what's the ground, right? What height is the ground then? If the top of my head is 6 feet, what height is the ground? So that's important to realize when you're doing these. And so you should realize that the ground, when we're talking about ground, it's 0, right? The height is 0. So if I then put 0 in for h here, okay, equals, right, negative 16t squared plus 400. And then now what the question is, how many seconds does it take for it to get to 0, right? So I drop it, how many seconds does it take for it to get to 0? So this, right, I can't do anything with this yet because it's a quadratic, but it's not in standard form because it starts with a negative. So I have to, excuse me, pardon me, I have to take that negative then and divide it by -1 to make it a positive, right? Divide it by -1 to make it a positive. And so I get 0 equals 16t squared minus 400. Okay, and then I can take that and I can factor that, right? And then solve for t, and you will have your answer. I'm not going to do the whole thing for you because at this point, you should know how to factor this, okay? And you should know how to